shoot, we had, I think, nearly 600 people crammed in the chemo.
And then tonight here, right at the Regal, right over
yeah,
here.
well, it's opening, whatever the first screening is, you know, it starts today, matinee.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, at 2 o'clock we're kind of doing a meet and greet over at the
10 seconds.
At the Regal. So I think there's an 11:50 screening, you know, so a noon screening over there, 11:50, and then we go over for a meet and greet. Yeah. Keep moving, Joe.
Welcome back to the Julia Goldberg Morning Show. This is Ray Post serving as guest host for Julia this week. I'm a broker with Sotheby's International Realty and the host of the All Things Real Estate radio show, heard every Sunday for 2 hours starting at noon Mountain Time on Santa Fe's 1260 KTRC AM, KVSF 101.5 FM, and streaming to our fans all over the United States and around the world. And do we have a very special treat for you today? I'm very pleased to welcome Academy Award-winning producer Jim Wilson and actors Kane and Todd Lowe, all here in the studio as they launch into the national tour and world premiere of 50 to 1, the story of the improbable win of the 2009 Kentucky Derby by the New Mexico racehorse Mind That Bird. Welcome to the show and congratulations, guys.
Hey, happy to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Well, Jim is producing and directing 50 to 1, and I have to say that when I read the background information given to me about how the film came together, from getting the perfect cast to finding the correct locations to shoot, and even finding the horse to play Mind That Bird, I was struck by how much luck, timing, and maybe even a bit of providence played into the experience. Now, is that an accurate read, or is that the way it is with every movie?
No, it's an accurate read. Okay, it is. I think we're 50 to 1 on this tour. You know, the horse went off and legitimately at 50 to 1. It could have been 100 to 1. I mean, the horse just didn't really belong in the Derby if you looked at sort of the speed ratings and everything else. And here we are. We've been through a zillion bumps and curves and everything to get to this point, but it is exciting to be here on the opening. Opens today.
Yeah, it does here in Santa Fe. And we're going to be giving some additional information. They actually have the the premiere down in Albuquerque at the Chemo today in Santa Fe, and then off to the Wild Blue yonder. And Todd, I have to tell you that my mother and my sister live in Kingwood, Texas. And
You're kidding me.
I know you grew up in Humble. Now, most people pronounce it Humble when they see it.
Well, it's Humble.
It
with
is
silent
Humble,
H, but I went to Kingwood High School.
Well, my niece, and you're going to have to say hi to Janie. My niece graduated from your elementary school and your high school a little bit later than you did, but why don't you say hi to Mom, Debbie, and Janie?
Hey, Mom, Debbie, and Janie, go Mustangs.
All right, there you go.
Go Mustang.
You know, if I know my sister, she has at least all of Kingwood listening to this show today on streaming on SantaFe.com.
Oh, that's great. No, because of this, I did an interview with the local Kingwood Observer.
Yeah.
I think the Chronicle bought that paper, but that just came out. And my mother's in South Texas right now, and her neighbors called her. It's like, your son's in the paper. She's in the local paper. I haven't been in that paper since I won a swim meet in 1989.
Well, you know, my sister sent an email to the guy who actually runs the Observer today, so they're going to be looking for sending you a check, I think, for that endorsement. So thank you. Anyway, Christian, I have to ask you. This is you and Todd have a lot of experience with movies, and I won't even rattle them off. You guys have been all over the place, TV, feature films, and the like. This experience, though, for you personally, is this sort of very special? Is it unique?
Oh, it's very unique. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's ever been done before. The thing is you know, you do a film and you just sit back in Los Angeles and you just pray for the best. You know, and the same thing with TV. You did 8 months later before. This is not like that. I mean, it's like I can compare it to like a song that I write. I'm a musician as well. When I write a song, I want to take it to the people. I think every artist in that venue does, and so that's why we have concerts. That's why we have tour buses. With a movie, you don't get that. And Jim had a brilliant idea of taking it on the bus, and so we're taking it to the people. We're going to get to shake their hand. These emotions that we wanted to try to bring out. You know, we get to shake their. Did you feel that? You know, and shake, and that's just, you don't get that. It's very rare.
Well, Jim, this is a gritty story to begin with. I mean, I talked about an improbable victory by the horse, Mind That Bird, but the whole concept, the players that Christian and Todd are playing, the individuals are real Americana, aren't they?
Well, these guys, I tell you, I mean, the inspiration for the film, one, was just watching the 2009 Derby on television. I mean, I was stunned by what Minette Bird did visually, just, you know, something I'd never seen. I own racehorses, so for 25 years I've been watching races, so what Bird did that day. So secondarily, I flew down to Roswell, New Mexico, where the owners live, and I found some real cowboys. I mean, these guys met in a bar fight. I mean,
Yeah,
when they
I
start
saw
talking
it.
about this, they talk about grit. I mean, these guys are hard, good old drinking, fighting, you know, cowboys.
That's the way everybody in Santa Fe is, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. No, I see that. Yeah. Yeah, the hotel, they're walking everywhere. But no, this is the real grit in New Mexico, real cowboys, and wear their hearts on their sleeves, and you know, get up at 4:30 every morning and train horses, and got their coffee, and they play hard, work hard, and that's what's exciting for me, was to put that race together and get these fish out of water. These guys with black hats, leathers, they drive their Harleys. You know, they haul their horse across to Kentucky, and they took on the greatest race horses in the world.
I read a little bit of the background information about going through the casting, and I think you two guys actually sort of live in your real life what the characters are in the movie. Is that the case, Todd?
No, not really.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm an
Someone
actor.
lied to me, I guess.
I haven't been on a horse in 25 years,
Okay.
and I had to learn how to ride a motorcycle for this. I've been on motorcycles, but I've crashed every one I've ever been on, so I didn't want to embarrass myself on set. So
Gotcha.
I went to the local Harley Davidson shop in my neighborhood in Los Angeles and signed up for their class, spent a whole crash course, 60 hours, and learned how to ride one.
Right.
But that's what you do as an actor. You transform yourself.
Now Christian was
Christian's a
talking-
little more rough and
Yeah,
tumble.
I know
than
he is
am.
rough and tumble. I read that in your background, but also too, you referenced the fact that you're a musician, but you're a musician too, right?
I do. I have a little bar band that we pick around Los Angeles with.
And Madeline is also a singer, so I have to ask the question: are you guys already starting to sing on the bus together or not?
We were singing yesterday. Me and Todd brought our guitars with us, so we were picking a little bit and singing. And he does a mean rendition of Willie Nelson.
I can do a decent Willie.
Yeah.
I think by the time we
I
hit
do a
Kentucky,
Julio Iglesias, so we might.
We're gonna put that together.
Very
by
good.
the time we hit Kentucky, we're gonna have a single. I
All right,
guarantee you that.
well, let's talk about that, Jim, because you guys are launching your national tour, and this is like a rock and roll bus tour. So, where are you off to next after you leave New Mexico?
Nah, I mean, we got to kick it off in New Mexico because it's all the New Mexico
course.
story. You shoot here. We're here for 40 days filming all over the state. So kick it off here, and then we head to Texas.
Right.
Go to Texas. We're going to go down to New Orleans. So we're going to be in Louisiana. Head back up through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. So we're going to get to Kentucky just before Derby time. So we're going to put on a good 10,000 miles and taking it to the people of America. Show them 50 to 1. Yeah.
And for you guys, have you been to New Mexico a lot, both of you?
Well, actually, I filmed here about 10 years ago. Actually,
Yeah.
me and Skeet Ulrich, who was another
sure.
one of our partners in
Right.
the movie. We did Into the West for Steven Spielberg. We filmed right here in Santa Fe, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the world.
It is. Yeah.
And we had a blast. So it's fun to get back here. We filmed this in New Mexico, 50 to 1. And I travel back and forth from Oklahoma, where I'm from. I was born in Texas, not Humboldt, which is, for those of you who don't know, is right next to Houston. But I grew up in Oklahoma, but born in Dallas, and so I go home every year. And when I finally get to New Mexico, it's my favorite part of the journey. I drive every year, and I just love it because you can just wash everything away they have in the year before.
Well, you know, if this acting thing doesn't work out, you got a job at the Chamber of Commerce here in Santa Fe. Yeah, very good. Todd, I have to ask you, but you haven't been here a lot to New Mexico or Santa Fe?
Working on 51 was my first time really spending time in the state. I drove out here in 1999. I drove to Los Angeles from Austin. My halfway point, and this is before GPS and everything, I knew was Deming, New Mexico. So if I could get to Deming, then I knew I was halfway there. And I
Very
slept
good.
in a Motel 6 with a tarp over my truck and one eye out the window the whole night because I had all my
Well, you guys are really living this whole life, aren't you? I love it. It's fabulous. And Jim, now I think I read somewhere that you spent probably collectively a year in New Mexico with all the filming and stuff you've done here.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years now, honestly.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah, I did a Native American series called 500 Nations, but I spent a lot of time here for Wyatt Earp. I mean, I lived
course.
right here out of Santa Fe. I was
Yeah.
here for 7 months. So
Swing Vote was here.
Swing Vote I shot down in Albuquerque primarily. So yeah, I've done 4 films here. So yeah, Santa Fe, and the state's my second home.
Your publicist asked me to ask you a couple of things. She said, why is Todd, why is Christian considered the Energizer Bunny on the set? What's that all about anyway? Is that a question you've been asked 1,000 times?
I haven't been asked that.
I haven't heard that at all.
I've never heard that, but I'll tell you something. He does have a lot of energy. So this guy, you know, he gets up fighting. This guy, he gets out of bed. I said, "How you doing? Let's go." So.
And you always have that bass drum you're carrying every time you bang.
Yeah. Well, the pinky's missing. I don't know. He's got on more a cowboy hat right now, but no, he bundles a lot of energy. This guy. I don't know how he has it all, but he does.
All right, so in the last couple of minutes here, world premiere this week, already down in Albuquerque, today in Santa Fe at the Regal Theaters. And what's the gig, Jim, this afternoon?
You know what's fun? You know, I think if you get to that first screening, I think it goes off at 11:50 or close to noon, 11:50 at the theater. We're going to stop by at 2 o'clock and sign some posters and meet and greet, and we're going to bring the bus and all the actors by the theater at 2 o'clock. So come on out and
We'd love
say
to
hi.
see you guys out there, man. We're gonna get off, shake some hands, and this is the opening weekend. So
Yep.
I really want to talk to people after they've seen it and see what they think about it, and just give them a hug for watching. You know?
Oh, yeah, well, that's Christian Kane, and I encourage you to do that. I want to ask you a very serious question. Can I give you my business card? Because I'm a real estate broker, so
I see.
Hey,
So-
Mr. Kane, I might be back here pretty quick.
Well, I have two reasons, because I set up that question about what you think about Santa Fe, and you answered it correctly. But then secondly, the Sotheby's corporate office is probably listening. If I didn't give you my card, they would really be all over
Exactly.
me.
Oh my
I'm
God.
in.
All right, I think we'll all buy a large suite here or something.
Very good.
Sotheby's.
I appreciate that. Anyway, this is Jim Wilson, the Academy Award-winning producer. He's also the producer-director of this movie, 50 to 1. In the studio with me is Christian Kane, one of the star actors here in this movie. Todd Lowe as well. Todd Lowe hails from Humble, Texas, right down the road from where my mother's sister and my niece live. And thank you guys for being in the studio today. We want everybody to stay tuned because we're going to take a break here in a minute. When we come back, we're going to have Madeline Deutsch, right?
Yeah.
Madeline Deutsch
Madeline
and Hugo Perez, two other stars in the movie. They're both going to join us, and Jim's going to stay here. So, Gino Thompson, let's go out here on the Julia Goldberg Morning Show. We'll take a little bit of a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation about 50 to 1, the improbable victory for the 2009 Kentucky Derby by the New Mexico racehorse Mind That Bird. So stay tuned.
Thank you, sir.
Wow,
you.
Ray, you got that down, buddy. Let me tell you.
About 5 years, I should.
No, but I tell you, that's just.
Anyway, it's